No, my favorite articles that are being written right now is similar to this one. There was a Reddit post where Zionists went to a club and the DJ said free Palestine. The crowd cheered. The Zionists said they felt unsafe and went home. There was another one. I saw an excerpt from an article talking about a dude who's like 35 years old in New York. And he's like, oh, I match up with a lot of I match up with a lot of women. And then they say they're pro-Palestine. So I have to, I have to unmatch them. So in order to clear up the confusion, I put an Israeli flag in my name. And now I'm matching up with like mid-ass people. Like all the creative types that I like, including, here it is. This is the best one. Yes, thank you. Hinge and Tinder are swamped with anti-Zionism, says Jewish singles. Oh, God, we got to read this article. Fuck. Okay, I have to read this article. Met 26-year-old Amy. She's single. She likes puppies and is looking for a date on Hinge, but it's not just good-looking men she's after. She goes crazy for a free Palestine. At least that's what her dating profile says. Felicity tells singles on Hinge, the way to win me over is having higher emotional intelligence than a turtle, loving spicy food, and being pro-Palestine. Yosef says, the dorkiest thing about me is I write poems in spare time. Underneath these words, a photograph of him waving a Palestinian flag. Lauren cuts to the chase by simply saying, no Zionists. Lee wants to make sure we're on the same page about free Palestine. So does Savannah and Boris and Michaela. Perhaps we shouldn't be surprised that, like everything else in the world since October, dating has become anti-Israel and anti-Jewish minefield. But although there are some pro-Israel profiles, most of the messages flow in one direction. Jewish singles on Hinge tell the JC that between 1 in 10 and 1 in 3 of their matches have something anti-Israel on their profile. What's more, while app algorithms are challenged to pin down Jewish daters, say that their matches have gone down since the war started, and they think it's got something to do with the Jew stamp on their profile. See, here's the thing, okay? I'm sure there are a lot of dummies out there who probably are like, oh, this person's Jewish, they probably love Israel. Except these guys do love Israel. So that's the difference, okay? Singles can tell prospective partners that they are Jewish on several of the main dating apps if they've set that on their profile. It falls under religion rather than ethnicity category. There's no setting for being anti-Israel, but daters have found other ways to broadcast their views. The main apps prefer all active users. The more you use them and engage with profiles, the more an app understands who you're interested in. So what happens when Jewish singles are simply outnumbered by the sheer volume of anti-Israel profiles? JC editor-at-large Stephen Pollard took to Twitter to express his frustration with the number of anti-Zionist profiles on Hinge. I noticed a few weeks after October 7th that some profiles started to show the Palestinian flag, he says. I didn't think much of it, but something has happened more recently. Also, how old is Stephen Pollard? He's a JC editor-at-large? 59? Brother, if you are a 60-year-old man and you're seeing that many anti-Zionist profiles, you're trying to fuck 18-year-old pussy. Let's just fucking be real for a second. You are trying to fuck 18-year-olds. No fucking way. If you have your age set to other 59-year-olds, okay, you're going to probably see a lot of Israel flags in the bios, okay? That's a problem. That's a problem for you because you want to fuck 18 to 25-year-olds as a 60-year-old man. Don't do it. Don't play with me. Whoo! No fucking way. Oh. Man, I can't. How are people avoiding this guy, bro? Come on. I mean, that's a hot piece of ass right there. Look at this pic of him. Oh! Rolling my eyes for a lot of reasons, but I'm super curious what age range Steven here has his Hinge set to include. JC editor-at-large Stephen Pollard took to Twitter to express his frustration. Why would you be a 60-year-old man and like openly admit any of this stuff? That's crazy. That's crazy. Okay. I noticed a few weeks after October 7th that some profiles started to show the Palestinian flag. He says, I didn't think much of it, but something has happened more recently. It's not yet the majority, but many profiles I see now says no Zionists. Yes, that doesn't mean no Jews. Okay. You're the one who's slapping that on. Now, divorced 59-year-old Steven downloaded Hinge last summer. A few months of swiping later, Palestinian flags started appearing. I don't have a problem with the Palestinian flag. People can share whatever flag they like. But the people who post no Zionists are basically saying no Jews. It's what they think is an acceptable way of saying it, he adds. Why? If they wanted to say no Jews, they would say no Jews. People are very racist and very anti-Semitic. Okay? What is this? What is this fucking take? This is another thing I don't understand, where it's like, oh, well, I don't know. I see no Zionist or someone who doesn't defend the state of Israel or says things along the lines of, I wish for a free Palestine. And immediately I think, you know, they must mean they're anti-Semitic. I cooked it up in my mind. So, of course, it must be true. Oh, God, I did it again. Oh, God. Oh, back to back. I'm sorry. Fuck. It's like the signs that used to read no blacks, no Jews, no dogs, no Irish. No, it's not like that. It's not like that at all, actually. Steven says there are masses of Palestinian flags on Hinge, and he's come across profiles of women who say no TERFs, no Tories, free Palestine. It's put me off opening the app, he says. Oh, no. This guy is off put by no TERFs, no Tories, free Palestine. There is no greater way to literally drum up support for all of these causes than be a 59-year-old dude, okay? 59-year-old dude looking for pussy on the app, 22-year-old pussy on the app specifically, and being like, this really is off-putting. It's taking me off the application where I want to fuck 22-year-old pussy. Fuck yeah, dude. Fuck yeah. It's put me off opening the app, he says. 22-year-old Hannah, not a... Oh, this is not one of the people that he found. For a second, I was like, oh my God, literally. Not her real name, has also distanced herself from dating apps since realizing how many potential matches were diametrically opposed to her when it came to Israel. Hannah wants to match with like-minded left-wing women. Wait, but there is no left-wing pro-Israel position. The left-wing pro-Israel position does exist. It's called no apartheid state, a one-state solution. That's what it's called. And for the record, there are left-wing Israelis. All 22 of them are in this chat right now. The ones that aren't arrested for, conscientiously objecting to serving in the IDF, that is. So it's just ridiculous. Before the war, I said on Hinge that I was a liberal and interested in politics, but I've taken that off now, says Hannah. I'm hiding that aspect of myself because all the other girls on there who are into politics seem to hate Jews. It's frustrating, she says, because I want to meet people who I can talk about the world. Okay, I want to explain something here. So when you talk about anti-Semitism, it's a real bigotry, right? So I want to sub this out for a different ideology so that you understand. Just because they're talking about anti-Semitism, which is a real bigotry, does not mean that the conversation actually is about anti-Semitism. This is the exact same strategy that conservatives have applied into all of the articles that they've written about how fucking woke and liberal young women are. Okay? So make no mistake, this argument has been made a million times over. This article has been written a million times over, except instead of anti-Semitism, it is about reactionary thinking. Conservatives constantly complain about how their reactionary approach to the world is off-putting to specifically the women that they want to date. I did not know that anti-Zionism was going to be even more awesome than it already is, right? It is already the morally correct position, but I did not realize that it was also the position that caused this 59-year-old pervert from trying to creep on 20-year-old women. Anti-Zionism on top once again. But if they're saying no Zionist, that doesn't leave much room for me. You have every opportunity to not be a Zionist. I do not understand this. You can't magically not be Jewish, and no one should expect you to be, okay, to stop being Jewish. That would be ridiculous. That would be anti-Semitic. But the expectation is that you have some kind of moral compass that leads you in the correct direction and, force you to reckon with Israel's actions. That's it. This is not an intractable position. What the fuck? Hannah, whose profile says she's Jewish, has also noticed a significant drop in likes since the war started. I used to get 5 a day, but now it's more like 1 per day or 0, she adds. Most Jews don't see a difference between Zionism and Judaism. I don't care. they're wrong. Okay? They're wrong. And that's not even true, especially when we're talking about Jewish people that are under the age of 35. So that's literally incorrect. So especially as we're talking about dating apps predominantly used by like younger people, younger Jews, as well as younger Christians, younger Muslims and whatnot, it's not even correct in this situation. That's what they're complaining about right now. Listen, my point always is, if Jewish Israeli people can comprehend that Zionism is a fascist death cult, then Jews living in other countries like the United States of America can absolutely and do comprehend that very same basic reality. Okay? That's it. Sorry, but you can stop being Jewish, like you can stop being any other religion. Oh my God, please stop with this fucking r/atheism bullshit, okay? Holy fuck. There is a reason why there is a specific carve out for religious beliefs. Judaism, especially, unlike Christianity, is also ethnic as well. It's not just a religion. It is also an ethnicity. Please stop trying to farm r/atheism impressions in here. I used to get 5 a day, but now it's more like 1 and 0. After October 7, I know some friends were worried that potential matches might shy away from Jewish matches, fearing awkward political discussions. Even, I mean, I guess that's like charitable. You know what I mean? Like they're still recognizing that it might be that they are perhaps falsely mistaken. Well, in that case, they aren't mistaken, because if you are an anti-Zionist, then you are going to fucking end up having an awkward discussion, and people want to avoid that. But in other circumstances, if you were to be like I don't arrive at the conclusion before meeting someone. When someone tells me they're Jewish, I don't immediately assume like, oh, you must be pro-Israel and you're going to fucking hate me. I don't. Perhaps it is because I am very fortunate and surrounded by a shit ton of anti-Zionist Jews, as you guys know. But it is ridiculous. Like it's not a good way to operate. And if I'm to be as charitable as possible to that kind of bigotry, I think it stems from the fact that Zionism is presented as a part of Judaism. Now, this is the worst article to make this assertion on, because every single person that's complaining here are Zionists. I didn't think Israel would become so important in my dating life. I think now I'm looking for a different match on the apps than the person I was after before the war. Some daters say they've switched to Jewish-only dating. J-Swipe and J-Date are options, but they're both based in the U.S. And several single people said there are simply not enough people on these apps in certain parts of the UK. Others have set their preferences to Jewish on the mainstream apps. But this has come with its own challenges. This is the part that I wanted to talk about. This is the cream of the crop, which undermines the entire premise of the article, which is that maybe there's an anti-Semitic slant towards Jews, and that's why nobody wants to date these people that we found. Turns out that's not the case at all. Talk about why would they post this in the article? I don't know, because it's so perfect. My favorite part of the article is here. This is why I'm reading the article to begin with. Zach, 35, says, I got pretty disillusioned after I found myself consistently mashing with anti-Zionists, even if I set it to Jewish only. Zach put an Israeli flag emoji on his profile to rectify the situation. It's annoying because the more creative personalities I normally go for tend to be more anti-Israel. Now he's having fewer awkward conversations about the conflict, but the people he's matching with are less interesting. Dude, it's awesome. It's all, bro, just drop the, dude. Just for the sake of getting pussy, arrive at the moral conclusion, okay? Maybe this is a good thing, okay? Maybe don't be a Zionist. Because remember, Zach is talking about setting his preference to Jewish only, and unfortunately for him, still encountering a shit ton of anti-Zionist Jews. This is literally like, this should be your, in the words of Joseph Robinette Brandon, come to Jesus moment. Okay? This should be the moment where you're like, wait a minute. Why am I aligned with these lame asses? This requires just a little bit of self-reflection and re-examining of the situation. Okay? I love he went, I'm going to put an Israeli flag to make it clear. It's like looking at a mirror and being like, damn. Damn, these people are ugly as fuck, dog. I don't know what's going on here. These Zionist Jews I'm matching with. Oh, it's so perfect. I'm getting no creative pussy out here. What the fuck? It's barren. He'd be open to dating someone he disagreed with on Israeli politics, but reckons the match would need to be fairly moderate in her anti-Israel views and not too extreme. Okay, Zach can be saved. Dude, that brother is starving, okay? He saw the other side and went, okay, it's fine, I think. He's moving the goalpost for a pussy. Yo, this is so good. What no pussy does to a motherfucker. It's awesome because I've read so many articles like this specifically about conservatives constantly getting mad, but rarely do you see reform happen in real time inside of the article, okay? Zach's downloaded Jewish dating apps but prefers Hinge as the prompts on a person's profile forces them to write more. Political things tend to become more important these days than they were a few years ago. He didn't see Brexit or Black Lives Matter appear on the dating apps, let alone the Ukraine war. My parents never had to worry about things like that, Zach bemoans as he continues swiping. Then there's 27-year-old Jacob. Back in October, the conversation on the first date with someone who wasn't Jewish turned into an uncomfortable debate about Israel. Jacob says he is not keen on repeating that. They quickly planned a date. The day before, they swapped social media links and saw her Instagram flooded with anti-Israel content. The girl had been at anti-Israel rallies and was sharing content that made Jacob uncomfortable. He decided not to meet her and texted her to apologize. He received this curt response. Thanks for letting me know. Have a nice day. This is great, man. This is so awesome. This is a great way to, engage in self-selection like this. Literally a hate crime reply. Yeah. Yeah. Guys, she killed him. You're laughing. She said, thanks for letting me know. Have a nice day. That is basically the equivalent of a Palestinian teenager throwing a rock at an Israeli tank, which is the most devastating thing that can happen to a $30 million Merkava tank, which is why that Palestinian child must be perished. It seems that this 27-year-old was in the throes of Hamas. Like many singles who dodge anti-Israel days, Jacob was pleased he didn't waste more time. Pleased he didn't waste more time on the girl, but wondered what the date would have turned into. After that, he started matching with more Jews. The next month, Jacob met another woman on Hinge. They discovered they're both going to the anti-Semitism march in central London and arranged to meet a date afterwards. They met at the demo, but the freezing weather... Dude, who the fuck... Jacob, you are never getting pussy. On God, you do not deserve it. Who the fuck goes... Oh, for our first date, let's go to a fucking counter-Palestinian rally, yeah? Let's do it. It's a perfect date. Let's go show our support for a genocide. Let's do it. Fucking hell. Are the British people all right? What's happening? What's happening in the fucking UK, mate? Yeah. I love cheering no ceasefire at the first date. Our beliefs are fucking aligned on the death and destruction of the Palestinian children and the women and the men too. They met at the demo, but the freezing weather at the parade in November amid signs such as United Against Anti-Semitism didn't make for the most romantic start, and the pair were too cold and tired for sparks to fly. There has not been a second date. I thought shared interest in turning Palestinian children into fucking liquid would have united us and made for great fucking foreplay. The vibes are fucked automatically. Okay? Your misogyny is showing. Pull it back a little at least. I know I can't. I can't pull it back. Especially not at the top of the hour when what is showing you, chatters, is the 3-minute ad break unless you subscribe for $5 or for fucking free with a Twitch Prime. By connecting your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch fucking account, you'll get 1 free Prime subscription a month. Use it on your favorite broadcaster. Hopefully that's me. You can also get gifted a sub right if you're lucky. Here's the 3-minute ad break now. Thank you so much to the Jewish Chronicle for chronicling this massive Zionist L. There's a lot of people who only date Jews these days, Jacob says. He thinks it's just a way of pre-selecting and avoiding unwelcome surprises. Yeah, well, even on that front, brother, even on that front, the pussy well will run dry for you, okay? Seemingly. There's always been a pressure on Jews to meet each other. It's one of the factors behind programs such as Birthright. But for many, it was not until October 7th the subsequent hike in anti-Semitism that matching with a Jew felt necessary. Jacob says, I didn't care before, but now I'll make it a bit more effort to try and find someone Jewish. Like Zach, however, he is Like Zach, however, he's encountered anti-Zionist Jews. Oh, it's so good. It's so fucking good. Oh, Jesus, are you fucking 50? I'm subbed. Fuck your ad break. Just last week, a Jewish man told Jacob, I go to the Palestinian marches, not the Israel ones, and invited him to an anti-Israel march in London. Yes. Yes. Oh, it's such a good, this is the greatest article I've ever read. When Jacob said he found the bias against Israel to be extreme, the match asked, what media are you reading? She went on, I found the Guardian and BBC to be biased in favor of Israel. They favor them all the time. I used to work in media, so I do know. She's so right, my queen. My Jewish anti-Zionist queen. Jacob, I'll match with a woman. I'm matched with a woman, but it's still on the apps. Oh, Jesus Christ. He hopes he won't waste any more time with those who espouse incompatible views, but in lieu of the perfect date, he's taken to organizing Jews only wine and cheese evenings. Bro's gonna keep running into the same problem over and over again, okay? The problem isn't that you want a Jews only wine and cheese evening. The problem is you need a pro-Israel wine and cheese evening, okay? That's the issue, dog. It's like, I did a Jews only wine and cheese evening and everyone kept saying free Palestine. What's going on? I hate it. This is my nightmare. Perhaps it'll be over a vintage Gouda and Cabernet Sauvignon that he'll meet his match. If these singles had one shared message, it was that they were keen to date. Yeah, dude, on God, we're going to get you some pussy, okay? I promise. You just have to, you know, commit to your undying loyalty to a free Palestine. That's it. This is the funniest way for Jewish people on dating apps to recognize that, like, no, being Jewish does not automatically mean someone is going to be fucking a Zionist freak, okay? It's like, no, no. I thought this would fix the problem. No, you just got to date up. You got to date like a 60-year-old Tory, okay? That's what you got to do. Sorry. While Jews are depressed, anxious, and scared, the urge to form stronger bonds to raise the Jewish family is more powerful than ever. Dude, God, these articles sometimes just like devolve into insane shit. Several Jewish singles Facebook groups have sprung up post October 7th. There are more than 6,000 members in singles page that calls itself world's largest Jewish singles group, while the group for New York Jewish singles has over 8,000 members. In the UK, the Jewish community singles group has grown to 2,000 members in 4 months since it formed, and 42 couples say they are still dating thanks to the group. Sarah Haruni Davies and Genevieve Gresset set up the page and have hosted several face-to-face events, including a winter festive gathering and a Valentine's party. Others have taken to hosting Friday night dinners for singles. It's time to ditch dating apps and go to friend's house for Shabbos, says one TikTok user. Another social media user says she hosted a Shabbat dinner with 16 singles last week and this week. Several of those at the dinner have been on dates. No Zionist on a dating profile might make a Jew swipe left, but a Star of David on a prospective match doesn't necessarily make for the perfect date. Openly being like, we're shutting ourselves from regular avenues of normal dating because our own people are betraying us by not being unconditionally in support of Israel's ethnic cleansing. Please. You put the fucking... Remember the Katie Hopkins meme of like having that bullseye? Remember Katie Hopkins putting that bullseye on her forehead and being like, this is what it feels like to be a conservative woman in the UK nowadays. And it's like, yeah, it's perfect because you put it yourself. You put the bullseye there yourself and there is no real problem. You're self-imposing this restriction, dog. You're so dumb. Like, I have a better solution to this, okay? Which is to change your fucking brain and not be someone who is so bloodthirsty that you're literally like I'm looking for a partner that also has the same energy on genocide as I do. I've one simple request: the total death and destruction of Palestinian children. What the fuck? Jacob now looks more likely to meet his match at one of his wine and cheese evenings. Hannah will keep swiping away for the moment, but is sorely tempted by a single Shabbat. Most of my generation say they want a free Palestine, but all I want is a good date who isn't turned off because I'm Jewish, she says. Yeah, ironically, they would do better if they were filtering for Christian evangelicals, for sure. But like I said, the funniest part of the article is literally when the 35-year-old dude is like, I started self-selecting Jews. And then all the creative Jewish girls that I wanted to hook up with kept being pro-Palestine. It's fucked up. Oh, it's awesome.